Summer, the long vacational season before children start a new school year, meant to be relaxation time between each academic year for students to boost psychological comfort and recharge for the next school year. Summer, however, seems to be the hot season for tutors, talent, and creativity classes. Summer is now time for parents to review and supplement, prepare the knowledge for their children.
Mình tên là Nguyễn Thu Hà, phụ huynh của cháu Đỗ Hà Phương. Hôm nay cháu 6 tuổi và sắp vào lớp 1. Hiện tại vì mình cũng tham khảo trên các diễn đàn và cũng thấy là vào lớp 1 thì các con có thay đổi một môi trường mới. Có từ môi trường nhà trẻ sang môi trường học hành rất là nhiều, thế nên là mình cũng rất lo và có thể là con mình sẽ bị rất nhiều áp lực khi đi học, đặc biệt là trong các trường công lập, một lớp quá đông mà nếu như con mà có thể là không được chuẩn bị trước thì có thể sẽ không theo kịp được các bạn, và cô cũng không thể kèm cặp kỹ được các con, nên mình cũng tìm một số nơi và cũng thấy là có một số lớp để cho con dạy chữ, luyện chữ trước. Toán thì mình có thể cho mình kèm kẹp con ở nhà.
THAY is not the only case, but this indeed is a common concern of parents when summer section enters. Among abundant choices of summer courses and the burden to prepare for a new school year, the pressure seems not only on the students, but the majority come from the parents. How to prepare the knowledge of the child before the start of the new school year, which shouldn't be any pressure on them, and the alternative options of educational methods and the mindset for children will be the main focus of Sharing Vietnam today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC THAY Net Việt. Our guests today represent an unique way of teaching for kids here in Vietnam. And this creative way has gained many trust from the parents. He already have 20 years of experience teaching in Vietnam. And let's share with him about some of the creative way and selective way that kids and parents of the kids can choose selective summer courses. Thank you very much, Robert, for joining Sharing Vietnam. As we can see from the previous reportage, parents really show concerns when it comes to summer time. Does summer times mean relaxing times, or summertime mean preparation time for the new school year? So where do you think that this pressure and this confusion of parents come from?
Parents are under a lot of pressure. It's very competitive to get into good schools, and of course they want to give their children the best opportunity to get into that. But separate from that is the child's personal development, the child's individual needs. And I think that the parents have to balance in the summer, which is a limited time, they have to balance the need of the children just to play, maybe the children to learn a new hobby or some sort of skill, which is wonderful. And then thirdly, they have to take care of business, which is getting the right training for children so they can get into the right schools. It's a matter of finding a balance between the three.
And how do you think that this confusion of parents could affect on a child growth?
I think in Vietnam there's more of a need for play right now. I think they need to put a little more time in. I don't think it's an either or, it's how you want to balance it. From what I've seen from children, they need to develop more types of skills, more types of social skills, and those types of things come through play, free play. I think that Vietnam has inherited a lot of good education traditions, respect for education, amount of time studying, respect for the institution of education. I think that they have to take in some ideas that are not from their tradition, and that will let their children be ready for the next workforce.
So Robert, could you reflect on your childhood a little bit and talk about what you usually do and how memorable are summer times for you?
That's a really good question. I'm always looking to my own experience as a child to sort of relate to children. I don't think they're that much different. You know, we're still the same as children, so For me, a lot of physical experience, going to the beach, going to the lakeside, doing sports, I think has a tremendous positive impact on children. I learned to play chess one summer from an older couple. I think there's a lot of different experiences that I draw from when I look for a balance in this school. We are trying to very much find play, but also some sort of academic development as well.
Currently, in two big cities of Vietnam, there are many summer classes and intellectual playgrounds with fresh alternative models combining playing and learning effectively for children. Parents now feel more daring to try new things and convinced with the modern and creative educational methods. And children are intrigued when coming to each summer sections.
Con thích học ở đây vì lớp sẽ làm vì có rất nhiều thứ sẽ làm cho con vui. Các đồ chơi làm cho con vui và các bạn và các thầy. Con học ở đây từ 6 tuổi. Con rất thích học đây vì ở đây rất vui. Khi học ở đây thì con biết được nhiều từ tiếng Anh mới hơn ạ.
Children, unfortunately, are playing less because much of education has become quite formal in terms of instruction, and so children are having a lot of screen time and not much play time, especially outdoors and social interaction with others. A lot of instruction has been given and children need to go back to creative play and being spontaneous.
To reduce the workload for students, many provinces and cities have banned the organization of compulsory cultural revision for students during summer, especially prior to teaching the next year curriculum. It is considered as a positive policy from the government, encouraging students and parents to have a healthy, useful, and meaningful summers.
So you were talking a lot about combining between learn and play, but how can parents select a good proportion of learning and playing for their kids?
There's more and more schools that are opening up to do this type of thing, especially for young kids. I think with older kids, there are lots of opportunities for sports. There is a limited amount of options for parents when they step out. If the parents want to find extra mathematics or extra language classes, there's lots to choose from. But when they want to do something alternative or maybe something creative, there's more of a challenge in that. But I think that's changing. I think there's more and more options for parents. And that's what it's about. It's about parents having choices. They're the best guide to say, oh, my child needs more academic or my child needs more play. Ultimately, that's their decision.
Vietnamese education is still based on grading. So how do you suggest that parents could, choose the right proportion of learn and play so that their kids can ready for their school years ahead?
The best way for Vietnamese to get into Vietnamese school is to follow Vietnamese tradition. And certainly there's a certain amount of hours that need to be put into to do that. However, there's more than that. There's the development of the child, and the child is more than a student. They're more than a student, and they need to have skills all through their life. People say to me, if you learn chess, does that teach you to be intelligent? It doesn't. It teaches you chess. And children have to have a wide range of things that they've tried, to put their hands into paint, to play with science, to write, to speak, and they develop many skills. And those skills maybe will not help them to write an entrance exam to get into school, but it will help them to be a more developed human being. And ultimately, that will be valuable when they go to work, because that's what the new economy is going to need. For that type of economy, IT economy, where you need to think and invent, formal academic education is not important. However, in a Vietnamese traditional society, the jobs you'll get right now require more academic rigor, but it's not going to be that way in 10 or 15 years.
And what is your views about the effort of the Vietnamese parents in choosing the best ways for their kids to learn during the summer?
I've taught in many countries. I think Vietnamese parents do things right. I do like their emphasis on academics. I do like the way that they give their children opportunity to learn new skills. I think that right now, what I can offer is more play. And I think that's what children need. I'm very interested in children being self-actualized and learning how to problem solve and use critical thinking. That comes from play. You cannot teach it. They've got to learn it themselves. You've got to put them in situations where they self-learn it. It's not mathematics where you can learn a formula. And the government has made some changes. And they've allowed different types of choices for parents. I think that's very positive.
Nowadays, Vietnamese parents are not only concentrating on, teaching their kids formal subjects such as mathematics or English, but also guide their kid into extracurriculum subjects such as dancing or playing or learning foreign language. So how could you recommend for Vietnamese parents in order to really observe them and see what their strength is?
If the child is always jumping around and moving around, as we have two little girls in our group, I think they should study dance. Not necessarily ballet, maybe modern or jazz or something like that. Several of the boys are very mechanical here. I can see it. They're always taking things and figuring it out. That should be encouraged. So I think that you need to take what the child can do and develop that. And we're always saying, what will the jobs be? Will it be IT jobs? Will it be engineering jobs? Should they be teachers? But really, you need to look at what the child can do.
As an educator that experienced not only with Western teaching technique, but also with Eastern traditional mindset. So how would you suggest for the parents how they can research and fine-tune their mindset in order for them to combine between, the best of traditional Eastern learning with the Western learning techniques?
I think you want the child to self-learn, and you need to support them to self-learn. That means you read them a book. Rather than trying to teach them to read them a book. And that positive experience will lead them to be readers. If you have a table set up for young boys to do mechanical things and have the grandfather, the father sit down with them to do it, that's play. If a mother has a skill of any sort to share with her children, all of that is play. All of that is play.
Thank you, Robert, so much for joining Sharing Vietnam one more time. And those are very valuable sharings that could be very useful for parents. And that's the end for Sharing Vietnam today. Thank you so much for watching us. Hopefully this show has given you useful information in order for parents to choose the right direction for kids when it comes to summertime. Any questions and recommendations, please email to sharingvietnam@netvittv.net. Thank you and see you again.